Trigger warning. The following content may discuss sensitive topics such as mental health, abuse, violence. Please proceed with caution and take care of yourself. If you feel uncomfortable, it's okay to step away.
Groom children online. They actively seek them out, they make contact with them, they speak to them, and they kind of mess with their heads and make them believe that it's okay for them to speak to them. They befriend them. Once they befriend them, they start making inappropriate requests, speaking inappropriately, and a lot of the time they arrange meetings. I was previously the founder of a team called Elite on Facebook. I ran this team for approximately 4.5 years. In that time, we had hundreds of online predators arrested. This was only Facebook, on Facebook alone, but they are everywhere. Even on here, it's terrible. There are other teams that are working on here. Wolf Awareness is one that I know of. I think it's Bananas Have No Bones. They're on here. There's quite a few. I couldn't name them all. But they actively watch, Cobra being one of the main ones. Now, Cobra, I can't say enough good about Cobra. They have an amazing team, and they have had for many years. They actually work on the darker side of the child grooming. They actually access live rooms where people are getting children in and moving them to private rooms and getting them to perform indecent acts, even paying them in some situations. They're absolutely amazing. The Den, which is a part of Cobra, absolutely, I have so much respect for these people. It's unreal. The time and the effort that goes into it. And this is real children we're talking about. This is not decoys that are set up. They actually go in and they catch predators of real children. Oh, Tricky is part of the Den. Respect to you. Absolutely amazing. And it happens. It's happening everywhere. And I know that the Den are very active on TikTok at the moment. As are Wolf Awareness. They share their posts with me and I'll share them out. I keep saying, stop it, Donna. I have to while I think, otherwise I can't think. Anyway, another point that I want to point out is about the new AI scene. Well, it's probably not new, but as apps and stuff and technology is getting better, they are on the lookout for children to be on posts, to be on videos. They steal the photographs of the children and they put them on the most horrendous, explicit videos, photographs, and they sell them. And this is why we really, really urge parents, grandparents, guardians, anyone, don't put your children all over social media. Please don't put them on social media. Even, if you're sat on a live and, your child pops on and whatever, listen, it's going to happen. We know it's going to happen. But I scroll through sometimes and I see people and they've got the children there with them and they are displaying them on live for, hours at a time. That is PDF fodder. That is, they absolutely love that. And the amount of images that could be stolen from that live and used elsewhere in the most disgusting and depraving manner is horrendous. And God forbid any of you parents should ever be sent or come across any of these images, because believe me, even you won't be able to tell that that's not your actual child in that picture. It's absolutely disgusting. Now, I know there are new laws that are being put in place, and people are going to be dealt with the same as what they would have done if they would have actually, if they were real children in these videos, these photographs and stuff. Tricky, that's fine, darling. No worries. I'll just waffle on. So yeah, and the thing is, people don't realise, people are still naive to the fact of what is going on, and they're still putting the photographs. We all want to be able to share our pride in our children, our grandchildren. It's only natural, but in this day and age, we just can't do it. We really can't do it, because there's so many deprived, vile beasts out there that want to use those images.
Evening.
Hi, lovely. What time you bloody call this?
I'm so sorry a safeguard came in. I did message you.
I'll let you off then.
I did message to say sorry, Donna, I'll be with you as soon as I can.
Oh, mate, you should have seen me trying to set this up. I'd got no idea how to put the green screen on. I'd got no idea how to set up moderators, because I never go live on here.
No, I don't.
So I've got no idea how to do it. And then someone said your gifts are on, so me being me, I'd only had one coin sent, but I was like, get my gifts off, so I had to restart. Anyway.
Yeah, just let's not have that problem again tonight. I'll explain that to you later.
Right, okay.
Just so everyone's aware, there is no money being made from this live, and it is just about safeguarding of children and things you can do to safeguard your child, and websites you can go to look at and see if there's anything that's of any interest to you and your family. But nobody is getting any money from these lives.
No, I was just explaining, obviously I explained that I was the founder of Elite. I explained that I'd worked a lot beside Cobra and what Cobra do, and I explained a little bit of what the Den do. I explained that the Den work with real children. It's not decoy based. They are actual real children in live rooms where these people are encouraging children to do despicable acts and enticing them into rooms and encouraging them to do inappropriate behaviour, and in cases paying them to do it. I've just been discussing as well the issue with AI and the facts as to why people should not be putting their children's faces over social media, because God forbid one day they would ever come across, you've seen them, I've seen them, God forbid they would ever come across one of these images, because they would not be able to tell whether or not that was their actual child.
No, you're absolutely right.
Because the way they do them, you would think that that was your actual child in that position that no child should ever be put into. So really, and we need to get the awareness out there. We need people to understand this, because a lot of people are still naive. They still want to share the photographs of the kids, obviously, because they're proud of them, but in this day and age you just can't, because the risks out there are unreal, not only to the children but also to what could be being passed around and being passed off as your child in positions that you, in situations, not positions because that happens, but in situations that you never ever want to see a child in.
I think it's important as well, a lot of it's a very difficult situation we're in today's world, because unfortunately the world of today, it is devices. You have to teach your children how to use a device to survive in today's world.
Yeah.
But the problem we have is teaching these children to be able to do that in a safe way, and with as much knowledge to the parent as possible.
Exactly. And if a lot of the parents don't know how to do this, they're not going to do it. And that's why we need to put the awareness out there of who these people are, where they are, what they do, and how it can be prevented.
I think, because there's so many apps, and a lot of these apps have pop-ups. So, the children don't actually have to do anything. The pop-up comes up, they press the pop-up, and they're live in a room to 1,000 people.
Yeah.
The Den has been, Donna can back this, the Den has been on cases where there's been 100,000 people watching one child. And also, Donna's team picked up a predator for us that had spent over £156,000 gifting children on an app. Do you remember that one, Donna?
Oh, yeah, like it was yesterday, yeah, because I couldn't believe it. I could not believe it.
Yeah, he spent £156,000. And he wasn't, rich or anything, was he?
No.
It was just a guy living with his parents that over time, in the back bedroom, spent £156,000 gifting children.
Mm.
And they blackmail the children as well. If you don't send it, if you don't send it, then they're going to blackmail you. And if you do send it, well, once it's on the internet, it's never gone.
And also, people seem to think that, no, my child wouldn't fall for that. My child will never get groomed. It'll never happen to my child. Listen, I am fully grown. So, hang on, let me think how old I was when I started doing this. Right, late 40s anyway. And when I started decoying and started messaging, obviously with me being the child speaking to these men, number one, I was shocked at how quick they added the children and started speaking to them. But then what shocked me is that the ability that they have to groom these children and make children feel as if they have to hang on their word, on their every word, and they have to do what they say, because they put into the children's heads that the children would get into trouble, not them, and they have ways. The grooming tactics are they're next level. Even, you know what, I believe they're that good at it, they could even groom an adult, because they fine-tuned it that well that they get you hanging on it, on their every word, and believing everything that they say. And if you tell them that it's okay, that child believes it's okay.
Well, I think I'm not ashamed to say, and I'm sure Donna wouldn't be ashamed to say, I have had girls in my team that I feel, I'm reading the log and I feel that they are being groomed, and I've said to them, step back for a couple of days and just look. I'm not ashamed to say that that's happened to Cobra, and I'm sure Donna's not ashamed to say it's happened to Elite. As dad, when you're playing a child, it's very, very difficult because you're in that mindset. So, when we read the logs, we can see that an adult's being groomed. You can see it in the log, and you have to take that adult off. As much as they cry and they get really upset with us for taking them off, a couple of days later, they'll come back to you and go, oh my God, I see it.
Yeah.
Once they've taken that break and they come back to us, they know.
Yeah, they come back with fresh eyes and they're like, you know what, I totally get what you're saying. Wow. And yeah, it is. And I need to be truthful as well. I have seen grown women groomed by men. It can happen if they've got that swagger, that chat, it can happen. Not just children can get groomed, adults can be groomed as well. And that's why you need to be very careful, because we all think that it's not going to happen to our children. No, that won't happen to, if you don't put the procedures in place to protect those children, believe me, they are wide open to it.
Like I said on the last Awareness Live, a lot of parents give their children their spare devices. They get a new one, they pass the children the device. They don't clear it. They clear what they need to clear off it, i.e. photographs or anything else, but they don't reset the device. There's another problem. If you don't reset the device, that means that the child is using your username for that device.
Yeah.
So when they're trying to get onto an app, it's your username that's coming up, the adult's username's coming up, and they're getting on without doing anything because the adults haven't cleared the device properly.
Yeah, and
always always reset it to nothing.
Yeah.
So that there's nothing on there that the child can use to be live on live apps, because believe me, I see it every day. And I think the youngest we've done was a 6-year-old, and it was horrific. I'm not going to go into what happened, but the youngest we've done is 6, and I don't know. I had no idea how many there's been. That's anybody's game, really. The only time we counted was the very first week that the den opened, and that was during lockdown, and we safeguarded 250 kids in 1 week. And that's when we decided that, the dens needed to stay. It was like, oh my God, This is how bad it is out there. And we need to be on these live apps. So we safeguard on about 15.
That in itself
Massive.
is like unbelievable. It's honestly, it's
Massive.
Absolutely shocking. And that's 250 children that you have 100% solid proof that they are being sexually groomed and put in positions, I'm saying it again, that word, position situations that they shouldn't be put in, with proof. I mean, I know a lot of people here, they message me quite a bit, sending me profiles. Oh, this guy's got children in his profile. Yes, that's wrong. But the problem you have as a team is you can't report someone for doing something that is morally wrong. You have to make sure that you have the evidence to prove that they are 100% breaking the law, doing something that is immoral. That not immoral is, what's the word I'm looking for, Lenny?
Criminal.
Yeah, you need to have proof that they are being inappropriate.
They've committed an offence.
Yeah, that they're being inappropriate towards these children. So for as much as it's immoral to be speaking to kids online, I mean, how many times have we reported to TikTok and the child is 100% definitely under 13 years of age? Number 1 shouldn't be on TikTok, and number 2 should definitely not be hosting a live. But then they turn around and say that there's no violations, and I'll tell you why. Because children aren't stupid today. Children are making accounts and putting older date of birth.
Yeah.
So when the TikTok algorithms and whatever check it, they're looking and they're seeing that that's an over 18-year-old, when in effect it's not. In reality, it's not.
No, it's not. In reality, it's exactly what a decoy does.
Yeah,
the real children,
exactly.
The real children are now doing it.
Yeah, and this is why parents need to know that they have to be checking children's devices.
I mean, there's lots of ways, excuse me, you can do that. You can do what we call, there's a video on the Den page of my voice, and it goes through a lot of the ways that you can layer a child's device to keep them as safe as possible. Because I would never say to any parent, don't let your child have a device. Because in this day and age, they've got to learn. A lot of the homework, they don't get homework sent on pieces of paper now. The homework's online from school.
Yeah.
Everything that a child has to do is online. So unfortunately, we're not in a position where we can say you're not having a device, full stop. Because the society has put us in a position where that's not an option.
Yeah.
So the only thing we can do is educate on how to keep your child as safe as you can online. And I think, that's where Donald and I are at. It's about keeping your child safe, as safe as we can. Because I don't want to go through the horrific stories that the Den deal with.
No.
I don't want to sit here and tell you I've had cases that have literally taken me to my knees. Literally.
Yeah.
On my knees. And I've phoned Jay at 2:00 in the morning.
Yeah.
And that's happened many times. And a lot of the other girls it's happened to, you know, and I'd never want a real parent to go through it, but they do. Like, we had one case where 2 little girls were live in their bedroom when I realised it was not 2 police officers' kids. And we contacted the station that they worked at, and I didn't want to go through the normal line because I didn't want it to come through if they were working, and it came through. So I went through the actual station instead, and the station came back and said, oh, no, it must be cloned accounts. I'm like, no, you're not listening to me. This isn't like, a Facebook account where there's a photo. This is a child dancing around their bedroom. You can physically see them dancing round. And that's when the parents took it seriously. So if 2 police officers' kids can be put in a position where they're live on an app, any kid can.
Yeah, definitely.
Any kid can.
Totally.
It's really unsafe, and there's so many. I mean, we monitor probably 15 apps, but there's probably 2,000 out there. And we can't do it all.
No.
You know, but go on.
That's why it's got to start at home. That's why it's got to start with the guardians, the parents.
Like, go into pop-ups on the device, whether it be an Android or an iPhone. Go into settings, go into pop-ups, turn the pop-ups off, which means the child they won't receive the pop-ups for like TikTok or any other app, because they pop up all the time and all the kid has to do is pop it in their live. So go in and turn that off. There's your first one. Second one, depending on the age of the child, put a pin on it that you have to put in rather than what the child puts in. Put your fingerprint on it, so that if they do want to download something, they've got to come to you and you've got to put your fingerprint on for them to be able to do it. There's 3 ways of layering the device. Then you can put Google Family Link on, which is an app that goes between your device and your child's device. That will also work outside of the house. So if the child's at a friend's and logged onto someone else's Wi-Fi to be able to download something, you're still going to receive an email before to say, can your child download this? Okay, so that's that's your best one, especially for separating.
I've put a video on today about that. So if people want to look on the profile, I've added a load of videos and stuff today, and I'm sure there is the Google one, the Google Family. Yeah.
App 360 is another good one. Life 360, sorry. That's a good one for tracking your child, which sounds really like, I don't know, extreme. But it's not extreme to track your child. Not if they're between 10 and 13. I don't think it's an extreme thing to do. I tracked my child for medical reasons, but I don't think it's extreme in this world, in the world of today, to know where your child is when they are at the park or what have you, and you know they're safe.
Yeah, I've got it on. My son's 13, and he's got it on his device. I've got it on mine. I know where he is 24 hours a day. Exactly.
I mean, Google Family Link has tracking as well, but that's just another app that I'm giving that's available to parents. I'm trying to think of, if you've put a lot of the apps up, then that should be fine. If you've done a video of the apps that we talked about last time, Donna.
I'm trying to think what that other one is. Is it Wednesday? Something?
Oh, yeah. The one that Kaylee, are you there, sweet? Was it Kaylee? That's
Hayley.
That one. Hayley. Is it? I only know
you about, darling.
The Scottish one.
Yeah.
I only know her by her other name.
Hello.
There she is. I only know you by your other name.
That's all right.
What's that app?
You can call me the mother name if you want. Everybody knows it. It's Wake Up Wednesday on Facebook.
That's it. Yeah.
Amazing. Thank you.
Do you want me to share the? Do you want me to screen share the ones that we spoke about last time?
Yes, please, honey, because we spoke about loads, didn't we?
If somebody
quite a few.
Big screens me.
I think Donna's going to have to do that, isn't she?
Oh yeah, of course I am. Like Donna knows how to do all this stuff, doesn't she?
Where?
I don't know how to do it.
There we go.
Oh.
So that's,
Wake Up Wednesday. Yeah, go on. You can explain that one because you know it better.
yeah. This is Wake Up Wednesday. It used to be called the National Online Safety. It's a Facebook group. There is a link on it that gives you free access to every single app that is out there, and it tells you information on what that app does. So, for example, Snapchat, and it tells you like the advice for parents and educators. And these people at the bottom, where it says expert, they are fully qualified and full certified. Couldn't get that word out there. And they also do like the safety on social media, so the 10 steps as well. And then also do other ones such as Just Talk Kids. And again, it's really good. It's on Facebook, Wake Up Wednesday, and it's got just loads of different advice, support, what the app does, what it like the rules are on it, etc. And then you've got sorry, I should have been more prepared. Where's the other ones?
Artisan Joker, if you look on the videos that I've put on today, you should be able to click and save those and share them. I believe.
Lizard Man, yes, you can turn locations off on Snapchat. Yes, you can.
I think this is one that you were talking about.
Google Family Link.
Yeah.
I think we've gone through all of that.
Gone through all that.
But yeah.
There's also this one.
What was that one now?
The Action for Children.
Oh yes. So that again, if you go into it, it tells you different apps and things like that you can use. It gives you the information, a bit like the one you've put up on Wake Up Wednesday.
Yeah. And then there's, I think this is the one that you discussed.
Kaylee's Love Stories, yeah. So if you go onto YouTube and put in Kaylee's Love Story, it's about a 15-minute video of a young girl, true story, a young girl that spoke to a man online, thought it was her boyfriend. She went to meet him, said goodbye to her parents, went to meet him, and she never came home.
It's a very, very hard watch though, so just...
It's a hard watch, so trigger warning, but it sort of gives you a really good insight into how easily a child is put in that position and, groomed to that extent. Yeah, she never came home. It was really sad.
See, what we need to realise is, there's some children that are a lot more vulnerable than others. And whereas some children, it will take a predator, 2 months to gain their trust and whatever. There's other children out there that don't get the attention and the love that they require from their loved ones. So when someone is showing them attention and promising them things that they probably don't get in day-to-day life, I've seen chats on decoys, this predator thinks he's talking to a 13-year-old child, and within 2 days he's promised her the world and asked her to meet and arranged a meet place, and we've had to go and confront him, and it's shocking because of how quick it can actually happen. I mean, some have been quicker than that. But just in general, within 2 days, someone can convince a child that it's okay to go and meet them.
I think as well, statistics show that a child can be groomed online in 20 minutes. That's the real statistics. I'm gonna tell you it's 5 because I'm watching it every single day. There'll be a girl live and she'll be doing her makeup. Just something very simple, getting ready, doing her makeup. Okay, I can leave her for 5 minutes and go and check the other child that's live. By the time I come back to the one that was doing her makeup, she's being inappropriate within 5 minutes.
Mind you, you know yourself that you can go online as a decoy, have it set up, and within minutes of it being set up, you can go, there's a message in there, and you open the message, and you've got an appendage there, a male appendage, like staring you in the face, and you're like, wow, you have literally not said one word to what you believe is a child, and you've just automatically send them your dangly bits. Like, what the hell?
Which is why we have to, you know, this is lives that aren't about anything but raising awareness, and the awareness is for parents and educators and carers to start, you know, putting stuff on their kids' devices to help them, so that you are aware what they're on. Please, because
also, just take 5 minutes out of your day once a week to go on your child's devices, look in the messages, go through the messages, check that the people that they are conversing with are people that they should be conversing with, and make sure that there's nothing inappropriate in those messages. Even between, you know, check the messages between young children as well, because we all know that, you know, some things do get sent, and it is illegal for them to be sending each other explicit photographs and stuff like that. You need to look at you need to go in and physically look through the devices. If you see someone on the device in the friends list that the child doesn't know and they shouldn't be messaging, check that there's no messages between them, and if there is, that then they're not inappropriate, and then block that person.
Sorry, Donna, can I just say, Jodie, what if they get told to delete messages? That's what worries me. Okay, so as a parent, it's your job to tell your child she's not to delete the messages. We can't stop the messages that they delete, okay? But what you can do is stop your child from deleting them. If it's on certain apps, I don't want to name the apps, because when we do things like this, we're also very well aware predators can be watching us, okay? So we have to be really careful what we can and can't say, because we don't want them to be aware of what we do and how we do it, okay? But you can make sure that on certain apps that's on your child's phone that we use daily, you can make sure that the messages on her side can't be deleted. And on certain apps, we can also download the chat after it's been deleted and still get it. Okay? So there is a way of downloading the most communication app that everybody uses and still getting those messages back. And as a parent, you can also download the app yourself. It will tell you can download and export the chat. So Donna, you know which one I'm talking about. So does Hayley. A parent can export the chat just as we do. So that's another way of doing it. Who was that again?
It was our Jodie.
Yeah, Jodie. Yeah. So that's another way of doing it, Jodie. I have to say, when mine were younger, we didn't have all these apps that we could safeguard them on. So what I did as a parent was done a spot check once a week. So they'd be sat on the foot in the sitting room once a week. They're always on the phones. There was nothing like this back then. And I would literally do a spot check. They weren't warned. They weren't told when I was checking it. It was literally spot check, and take the phone off them and I would check it. So there was no warning or anything else. That's another thing you can do.
And also, just on that, if you are checking your child's device and you do see communication with somebody that you don't know, do not start chatting to them and pretending to be your child. If you do see anything and you're concerned, turn the child's phone off and take it to the police. Call the police and mention to them that it's obviously a safeguarding thing, but report it straight away. Please do not take over that chat, because you can end up, one, getting yourself into trouble, and two, the case can
jeopardise the case, 100%. Yeah.
Whatever you do not take over the chat. Turn the device off or put it into flight mode and phone the police.
Yeah.
That is always your first port of call, police.
Yeah. Now, as a parent, I think, as a parent, your first priority is to speak to your children. Now, you need, I know sometimes we can speak to our children till we're blue in the face and they don't take it in, but this is something that you need to specify. You need to, especially younger ones that are getting devices and stuff, they need to know, how you teach them about there's certain parts of their body that's theirs, that belongs to them, that should stay private to them, whatever. They also need to be told that no one should be expecting you to delete your messages. If someone's asking you to delete messages, it means they've been naughty, it means they've done wrong and they don't want anyone else to see. So if anyone asks you to delete your messages, can you come and tell me?
It's about having that open dialogue with the children, isn't it?
Exactly. So you need to be open with them. You need to explain to them what is acceptable for them to do on that device. Like, so here you go, here's this device. You can have that, but you must only speak to friends. Don't accept friends' requests from people that you don't know. If you get friends' requests from adults, please come and show mommy, daddy, whoever. Stuff like that, and let them know what is right and what is wrong, and that people should never ask you to send photographs of yourself in any way, shape or form, so that they know, so that they're aware that if this does happen to them, and this is why we say that it's got to start with the parents. It's something that has to be instigated by the parents so that the children know, because otherwise, if they don't know, they will just get dragged right into it.
And please don't ever think it won't be your child. I'm sure all three of us on this live can all name at least one person within the community whose child has had something happen in some way, shape or form.
Yeah.
And as teams, we've supported, whatever they've needed to do moving forward. And I'm sure there's all three of us have had that.
Yeah.
But it is about, your parents need to put as much, and don't forget as well, when you're checking the child's device, to go into the App Store and the Android, because any apps that they have downloaded, a lot of these monsters will get them to download a specific app, but when they're not talking to them, get them to delete it. But it's still sat there, so they haven't actually got rid of it, they've just deleted it, so they can go straight back in, press on it and get it back every time they're speaking to that person. So don't forget to go into the App Store, which will tell you every app that they've tried to download.
Yeah, because if it's been
downloaded,
I think in it's got like, I think it's Apple, it's got like a little cloud with a little stick at the bottom if it's been downloaded previously. Yes. I'm not quite sure with Android.
I'm not quite sure with Android. Hayley, are you Android?
No, I'm iPhone, but I'm sure with Android it is similar. But I just don't think it's like the little cloud image, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe
It's just
somebody in the
that
comments can confirm if they've got an Android, but I'm sure it is similar.
Tricky, you Android? I'm sure she's iPhone as well. Are you in here? Trick? iPhone. Do you know how to turn it off? Do you know how to check whether the App Store on an Android, Trick?
Let me Google it. I'll be back.
I haven't got an Android. Everything I use is iPhone. I tried Android and I threw it because I couldn't work it out. But yeah, a lot of these monsters will tell them to download the app, talk to them for, 3 hours, whatever, tell them to delete the app and tell them a time to be back tomorrow. So 3:00 tomorrow, and they'll just go back in and download the app again. They don't even have to log in and they're back. And that's what they do. They hide it. They're getting clever. They're telling the kids to hide it.
And they can be quite, well, so I've had some that can be downright nasty. And I mean, horrible, aggressive. Why weren't you on? I told you be on 3:00. Where were you? Well, I don't finish school till 3:15. Tough. I said, turn your phone on at 3 o'clock and speak to me. You weren't there, so I'm not speaking to you. Or if you don't do this, blah, blah, blah. Honestly, it's like, they can be very controlling and very nasty. And what people don't realise is, the amount of time I've had people say, oh, it's only words or it's only chat on a screen. No, it's not. No, it's not. It's mentally disturbing and it sticks with them for a very long time, if not forever, depending on what they have seen or heard, or if they have gone through the mental abuse and whatever from these people. So don't ever say that it's just words on a screen or it's just a chat or whatever. Believe me, and obviously Lenny knows more so because, she has to safeguard real children and she sees a lot more than what I've ever seen. But it does stick with them and it changes them forever.
It does, even with adults.
Yeah, sorry, just a quick one. On Android, if you open the Google Play Store and then go to your profile and select Manage Apps and Devices and then Manage, it will show you a list of all the apps you've ever downloaded.
Just leave it there a second, Hayley. Just screenshot that, guys, if you need it. That'd be easier, wouldn't it?
That would be.
I'm sure they've done it by now, honey. They need it. But yeah, it's worth them knowing. Right, the other thing, obviously, I said the other night when I came and jumped in the other live for 5 minutes. So as a team, we do now have a direct email contact with TikTok in association with the Observer. She's worked really, really hard, bless her heart, to help us get a link that we can use to safeguard the children on the apps, this app in particular. So there is an email, which obviously we can't give out, but any children you do see live, throw it in our inboxes and one of us will send it over to TikTok and get them off as quickly as possible. A lot of these mistakes is TikTok, let's be honest. It's like, you can come on here, but you can't go live. Well, that's like telling a child they can go in a sweet shop, but they can't eat the sweets.
Yeah.
It is. We safeguard, I don't even know how many kids a day live in school. But yeah, so we do actually have the email now, which will help massively to get the kids off as quickly as we can. That's just on TikTok, though. We do have other, we've got a link with Likey, we've got a link with Bygo. So we do have links with a lot of the people higher up with apps. And if we send children over, they are very good at taking the children off. This is specifically for TikTok, though, the one the Observer managed to help us get. So hopefully any kids that you will throw them over. It's a shame, really, that we don't get so many people in listening to us, because all we're trying to do is get you to safeguard your kids.
Yeah, no, we've shared this out all week. We've shared it to big creators. We've shared it. And you know what? I have been on today. I've been so naughty today. So I've been going on people's posts that I know have got lots of followers, and I've been putting on there, that about this awareness tonight, posting it in there, asking people to share it. And still we're sitting on 16 viewers, and I just think it's so sad when, in today's society, people would rather sit and watch people make fools of themselves on TV, being absolutely horrendous on TV, on the screen, being absolutely horrendous, slandering people, slagging people off, being absolute and utter dicks, rather than come here and educate themselves on how to protect the children online, or how to protect others, help others.
I think this is it, isn't it? It's about sharing it out.
Yeah, exactly.
Thankfully, we're very grateful for the 16 of you that have stayed.
You know what? 100%. Because, if just by doing this now, it saves